I knew that hormones go a little crazy. Postpartum is a real thing. I know that, but it hit me really hard. I struggled really badly with postpartum depression and anxiety. And a lot of it had to do with like me and being home, but a huge side of it was my business. And I couldn't connect with my business for a while, I felt like.
Hello and welcome to the Elevate podcast. I'm your host, Patricia Nowakowski. I'm a salon owner, educator, mindset, and leadership coach that helps salon owners go from overwhelmed and burnt out to motivated and empowered. It is my mission to help you systemize your business, generate more profit, and create a career that you love. Join us every week to learn about the small shifts you can make to elevate your business regarding mindset, marketing, social media, business systems, and so much more. I am so excited for today's episode. Today, we are chatting with Rebecca Mason, and I love Rebecca so much. She has been a student of mine for, I would say, on and off for the past 2 years through Destroy the Hairdresser, and we are going to have an open, honest conversation on what it is like to be a new mom and a salon owner, and the expectations that go around going back to work, and what the experience is truly like, and how things change when you start to expand and grow in other areas of your life. I want to start off with you introducing yourself, giving a little bit of your history and who you are and where people can find you.
I am Rebecca Mason. I own a hair salon in Middletown, Connecticut called Rooted Hair Salon. We are on Instagram at Rooted Hair Salon CT. I am at RME_hair design. But I have been a hairdresser for the last 13 years. I worked at a commissioned salon first, and I absolutely loved it. I kind of found my groove there and found like what I really enjoyed doing. And a lot of that had to do with customer service and really connecting with my clients. I went on to renting, which I really loved because I was very in control. And then I opened up my own salon. It's been 3 years now. So November will be 4 years. I opened November of 2019, which was right before the pandemic. So I had a couple whammies in a row there. But I opened my salon, and I opened as a rental salon, and I didn't really think that I wanted to be a leader. I didn't think that I wanted to lead a team. I didn't think that I had it in me. I think I didn't have the best examples at my first salon on how to efficiently run a team. So I just said, I don't want to do that. That's not something that I want to do. And then I connected with you, Patricia, and we kind of talked it through a little bit about pros and cons of having a team versus having renters in your salon. And I am so glad that I have a team. I would never have it any other way. Currently, like, I really can't see it any other way. I love it, and it's very rewarding, as challenging as it is, especially now. I really wouldn't have it any other way. So I'm very grateful for my team and where my salon is now. And I now have a 6-month-old baby boy, and I'm finally getting back to my salon, if that makes sense.
I love that. So I think a lot of people who are interested in opening salons have this thought process that they want to do a rental because they don't want to micromanage people, and they don't want to essentially be a leader. When in reality, it's really easy to have a salon and give the same structure as a rental, but still have that team feel and still have that ability to hold the standards inside of your salon. And really, the whole reason that most people open a salon in the first place is to create freedom for themselves. And the only way you can truly create freedom when you are a salon owner, and the only way you can truly step out from behind the chair and grow your business in a really great way is through commission. And I think when you open up when I've opened up my students' eyes to the possibility of running your salon differently and running it with more freedom and more responsibility on the stylist side, you can really see the potential of the growth possible, and you can see how you can do it differently successfully.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So I wanted to chat with you today because we've worked together on and off for 2 years, essentially around 2 years. And I really resonated and connected with you after you had your baby, because we kind of went through the same experience with becoming a parent and being a salon owner. There was a lot of people who are just like showing the great side of being a business owner, and they make it look really easy on the internet, when in reality, it is really hard, and it's rewarding and worth it, but it is really, really difficult. And I think a lot of people really don't understand the process and the whole experience you go through when you are a salon owner and then become a parent. And you really think that you're just going to take a quick maternity leave, you're going to have a baby, and then you're just going to go right back to life, and it's going to be exactly the way that it was. When in reality, it is a completely different experience and a completely different version of you, because after you have a baby, you're not really the same person. Priorities shift.
Not at all.
You're responsible for a tiny human. Your energy levels change. Where and how you spend your time has to shift and change in order to really kind of take care of this new responsibility that you have. So I really want you to share, one, what it was like having a team and going on maternity leave, because I think being a commissioned salon owner allowed you to do that freely. And two, what your experience was like after you had the baby and when you kind of started going back into the salon, and what that new reality looked like for you.
Having a team and going on maternity leave. So leading up to my maternity leave, I really worked super hard on getting systems in place and making sure that I had clear communication with my team on what their responsibilities were while I was away. I made the conscious choice to not hire someone, to not hire like a manager or like an assistant to kind of be there to help out and hold them accountable. They said that they've got it. And as scary as that was, I said, okay, I have to have faith in them and I have to go with it, because I don't know what else I would do. But so I worked really, really hard. I was super driven for the whole time that I was pregnant. I've never been more clear and more focused on what I was doing within my business. And it felt really good. And I was that person. I was like, oh, this is amazing. Look at the track I'm on. I'm so motivated. I'm getting all this stuff done. I'm going to have my baby. I'm going to come back. I'm going to keep building. It's going to be amazing. That's not what happened. But I was hyper focused up until I left, which felt really great. And I felt very confident leaving. And I think if I didn't have a team, I'm not sure if I would be able to like leave how I did. They really did a great job at upholding the standards of the salon. I understand they are not the salon owners. So there are things that maybe slipped by that weren't to my satisfaction, but they were doing a great job. I'm very fortunate that I have a wonderful team. I have a team of 3 stylists who are great. And I'm really lucky that I was able to leave my salon. I left for a month before my baby came, and then I came back to work very part-time, very limited hours after. So I left in July and I came back like the end of October. So that's a good handful of months that I was not bringing revenue in and my salon was sustaining. And I think that looking back is the biggest win. coming back. So coming back to work into the salon it was really hard. My biggest fear towards the end of my pregnancy, like surrounding work, was that I was going to lose my passion. That makes me emotional to think about it. Like that I was going to lose my vision of what I'm doing and lose kind of a little bit of who I am, because my salon and my business and what I've been working on and what I've been working on was a huge part of my life. And I was just so nervous about losing that. Obviously, I knew my life was about to change, but I just was so scared that I wasn't going to want to do what I'm doing, that I wasn't going to want to try and push through. I didn't want to, I don't know. I was worried I didn't want to be challenged the way that I liked being challenged with my business. And when I had my baby, I kind of felt like that exact thing happened. I had a really hard time. I knew that hormones go a little crazy. Postpartum is a real thing. I know that, but it hit me really hard. I struggled really badly with postpartum depression and anxiety. And a lot of it had to do with like me and being home, but a huge side of it was my business, and I couldn't connect with my business for a while. I felt like I wasn't doing a good job being there as a leader. I felt like I was letting everyone down because I am now at home and I'm on call 24 hours to feed this brand new little baby who has such simple needs, and he just needs me. And I'm so used to doing all the things that I'm doing during the day for my business. So that was really hard. And that didn't go away when I started to come back to the salon. I still felt really disconnected, and it took a while. And I think up until I started opening up to my staff a little bit about what was going on with me in my personal life, that started to really help. I reconnected with my staff and let them know, this is what's going on with me. I don't want it to affect you or the business that you're building and what you have going on and your goals. And I want to keep working with you to work towards achieving your goals. I'm still here for you, and that's not going to change. So I think reconnecting with my staff was really big, and that kind of jump started me starting to feel a little more reconnected with what I was doing. It's still a little bit of a struggle. But I'm 6 months in, and I'm finally feeling like a little bit back. I know I'm not back in the same capacity because I can't be. There's just no way. Me and my fiance are the only two that care for my son. We don't use a daycare. We don't have family that comes and helps. We're both independent business owners. So we luckily have very flexible schedules, but we're figuring it out, and it's starting to feel good again. I'm diving back in finally into creating or touching back with the standards of my salon. I think reconnecting with my mission of the salon, what my core values are, and going back through like my training system that I had set up before I left has been really helpful for me to see what my vision was and make sure that it's still the same, and make sure that I still want to work towards the same kinds of things.
I think there's like so much to unpack here. One, I work really closely with my students to set up systems and really make sure that their team and the people that they have working for them are self-sufficient and really know how to take care of their own business so that they can step away and they can not be there and everything can function without them. I think that's so important. And I think another thing that really is important, and I think that I really push my salon owners to do, is to really dive into what your mission is, what your core values are, what your standards are, and connect with your business on a deeper level so that you can reconnect with your business and find that passion. Because even if it's not because you're having a baby, you can get disconnected from your business for so many different reasons. And I think that having those solid values and that solid mission in place is something that you can look back at and be like, okay, yes, this is why I'm doing this. And I think too, when we have a baby, we expect to be able to expend our time in the same exact way that it was before we actually left for maternity leave. And in reality, that doesn't happen. And we find that we created this beautiful business. We worked so hard to build this wonderful thing that we've dreamed about pretty much for our whole career. And after the baby comes, sometimes we feel like we have to choose. And of course, the human baby comes first. So it really does leave us in a place of feeling helpless. We feel helpless. We feel like there's not enough time. There's no one else that can help us. And in reality, you just have to give yourself grace, and you have to shift your mindset around what your life now looks like and the person you've become after you've become a parent. How did you begin to reconnect with your business by looking at your mission statement and all the things? What were some things that you did to kind of like refocus and to get back to where you are?
Did you ever wish there was a space to connect with other like-minded entrepreneurs outside of the industry? Last year, I joined Brand Builders Group, and it has truly transformed my business. Brand Builders Group is a personal brand strategy firm for influencers, thought leaders, and entrepreneurs. Their services are designed to help mission-driven messengers clarify positioning, expand reach, and increase revenues. I've gained so much clarity thanks to working with my brand strategist and attending Brand Builders Group events. If you are ready to create an impactful personal brand, check out Brand Builders Group. For more information, check out the link in the show notes.
So I think I just felt so overwhelmed with what I had to do or what I had not been doing, that it just felt like, oh my gosh, I have so many things to do. So by looking back at like what my core values are for the salon, which are things like excellent customer service. Looking back at my core values, I think that really kind of triggered me mentally to say like, oh yeah, that's what I'm passionate about, is helping my staff deliver these types of results. And I know I have to kind of be there to guide them a little bit to make sure that they are representing the salon the way that I feel like it should be represented.
I want you to also talk about how you've shifted like what you're doing in the business. You are not working the same amount of hours behind the chair, because at this time, like that's something that you have to let go of, and you're growing your business by growing your team. So can you talk about how you've kind of shifted that? Because I think a lot of salon owners are afraid to step away from behind the chair. But when you have a baby and your time is shifted and changed, it's something that you, I think, almost have to do.
No, totally. And to be blunt, I mean, this was a goal of mine for a good handful of years. Even before having a baby, I was like, I want to work 2 days behind the chair and I want to do bridal. That's what I want to do. And now that I have a team, I'm able to do that. And even the 2 days that I am, in quotes, behind the chair, I'm not full. My book is not full. I'm working on other things, and I'm working on building my team.
By building your team instead of trying to build your book back, how have you seen a shift in your business, and how has that helped your business grow?
So I've definitely seen a really big shift in my business because I had built up a beautiful clientele, a clientele that I love, that I'm really proud of. a very full book over 13 years. A lot of those clients have been with me for over a decade. And coming back from maternity leave, I don't really have any of those clients in my book. And I think that alone was a big shift in my mindset. I had to really be okay with the fact that like my job isn't to like hold on to those clients for dear life. It's to help other people grow. And those other people are my staff. And by them growing and learning, they're helping to grow my business and my brand and my vision. They understand what I'm trying to do with my business, and they're along for the ride, and they're very supportive. Yeah, I think that alone was a huge thing for me. It took me a while to kind of be okay with that. But I am okay with it. I'm happy to help other stylists learn and grow and challenge themselves and evolve. And that's, to me, more rewarding than having a super full book behind the chair. So it happened a lot faster than I anticipated. I didn't have too much time to look backwards. So I'm really only looking forward, and it feels good. I think the challenge and the change that has happened in the last year of my life has been all, in the end, all great. And now, yeah, I'm focused on growing my business and reassessing what's important to me and my business is really helping me pinpoint how I want it to be, who I want to be there, and what's important for our culture and for our brand.
I think too, after we leave and we go on maternity leave and after we have our babies, there is a tremendous amount of gain, right? Because we have like this new role in our life, and it's such a beautiful role to be a mom. And we have this beautiful new baby, but there's so much loss that happens. We lose our clientele. That's a huge loss for us, which is hard not to take that personally when we've, been servicing these people for, a decade. Sometimes we lose team members. When I was on maternity leave, one of my biggest producers came to my house and told me she was leaving. So things like that happen. Loss of freedom happens. Sometimes other things that we are used to or expecting in our life are no longer there. So it really is a different type of balance between, this gain and this loss inside of what we do.
I feel like I feel like I had a really hard time in the first 2 months, in the first 8 weeks. Like, that doesn't sound like that long, but it was a really long time. I feel like I spent a lot of that time kind of like mourning like the loss of my life a little bit, like my previous life. And I kind of just kept thinking like, how am I going to do this? This is impossible. I can barely have a one-on-one meeting. Like, I can't even have a you and me with any of my staff because I don't know when the baby's going to nap. We're not on a schedule. I'm exclusively breastfeeding. This is really hard and demanding and emotionally draining. And I can't commit to talking to my team member about how excited I am that they have 4 new clients in this week, because ultimately I just can't, my brain can't handle it. And it was very difficult. I definitely had thought I would be okay and be able to kind of pick up where I left off. And that definitely, it wasn't the case at all.
I think too, when you're living in that moment, you feel like there's no end to the thing that you're experiencing, right? Because it's almost like Groundhog Day. Every single day is the same until it's not. And you don't know when that's going to end. So you're like, oh my God, this is going to be my life forever. When in reality, you just have to make it through the different stages of the baby. Because once the baby starts to get bigger, they're less dependent on you. You get more freedom. There's more of a schedule. But in that moment, those first 2 months really seem like this is going to last for eternity. And when you don't see an end to what you're experiencing, it can be really, really take a huge toll on your mental health and just on you as a person in general. So I totally feel that.
Absolutely. And nothing can prepare you for it. Like
Mm-mm.
I knew it was going to change me, change my life, change my relationship. It was going to change everything. I knew that. But it's shocking how hard it is and how different it is. And nothing could ever prepare you for it. And just as you said, it really does feel like Groundhog Day, and every single day is so hard. And you're like, at least me, I'm like, have I made a mistake? Should I not have done this? Maybe I don't know. Maybe I made a huge mistake. My life was pretty good before. What have I done?
What was I thinking?
Now, yeah, what was I thinking? I don't know why I thought that this is a great idea. I have no idea. But yeah, after like 8 weeks, everything felt a little bit better. After 12 weeks, everything felt a little bit better. 4 months was like a huge game changer. And now we're at 6 months, and I feel like I got this. I mean, I know I don't.
No, you do.
You do. And we're figuring it out, but like, okay, I got it. Like I feel a lot more like myself. The days are much more manageable. I'm able to focus on work days, and also be able to focus on my family. I feel very lucky. I think one thing that did help me recently, within the last maybe month or two, I said, okay, so I work on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I get a sitter for 4 hours on Saturdays. Those are the times that I'm going to focus on work. All the other days, I'm not going to feel guilty about not being able to do things for work. I'm not going to feel stressed out. It's easier said than done, but like, I'm not going to feel stressed that I'm not getting things done for work, and I'm not doing the billion things that are on my to-do list, because those are meant for work days. And now that I've been doing that for maybe like a month, it feels so much more manageable, because on the days like Wednesdays when I don't work, if I get anything done for work, it feels amazing. Whereas, I mean, in the beginning, it was impossible to get anything done. And I'm like, how on earth am I going to be able to run a business? This isn't going to work. There's just no way. There's no way. So it's gotten a lot better. And just like everyone says, it gets easier. It gets better. These are things that I did not want to hear when I was in the trenches in the very beginning. But it really does. And I can't imagine my life any other way. I think it's making me definitely a better person. I think it's making me a better leader, and definitely a better businesswoman. Just it's making me better all around.
Yeah. And I think it's important for us to have these like open and honest conversations, because a lot of people don't. And, you know, there are people who feel so isolated and alone, and they feel like they're the only person who feels that way, because a lot of people don't want to talk about how motherhood is hard and about how running a business is hard. I also think that being a parent does make you a better leader. It gives you more patience. It gives you more empathy. It gives you more just practice with your reactivity. And it really does help you really shift and become a better leader overall. What is like 2 pieces of advice you would give to someone who is either expecting or just had a baby that is a salon owner, and that may be feeling the way that you felt when this happened?
I would say, if you are expecting, and maybe you have a team, but if you're expecting, just like really invest in your team and make sure that they know like you are here for them. These are like, lay out your expectations and make sure that you're very clear with your team. But really just like investing into them, kind of pour into them before you leave, because they're going to be running the show, and maybe it won't be as easy when you come back, and maybe you'll need them to take over for a little bit longer. But definitely make sure that you're very clear and connected with your team before. Well, I hate to say it because again, when people would say it to me, I was like, "Oh God, okay, yeah, I get it. It's going to get better." But it really does get better. I know nobody ever wants to hear that when it doesn't feel like it's ever going to get better, but it will. And when you have moments that you feel really good, like just hold on to those and keep thinking back to those because they'll really help you, but it's going to be hard. uh,
I think
yeah,
too,
I don't know.
that's such a great piece of advice connecting with your team, because I think that's one area that I kind of lacked. And I think that's why I ended up losing that team member. I had people in my business that I knew needed to go, but out of fear, I let them stay. And then my team member ended up feeling, isolated and bullied. And because I didn't align my business with my core values and standards, I ended up losing a really, really great team member because I was also disconnected before I left from my business. And I think when you're coming back, well, before I go there, having systems and really having structure so that your team knows how to function without you is crucial to being able to take a very stress-free maternity leave, because you know that things are getting done properly and you're not thinking about your business 24/7 while you're at home. And then coming back, I would say from my perspective, I think giving yourself grace, knowing that this isn't permanent, that everything will shift and change, and you just got to ride the wave, go with the flow, and do the best you can and be okay with what that best is in that moment and for that day. And that tomorrow will be different. And if tomorrow isn't different, then maybe a week from now will be different. So knowing that things will change and your energy will be able to be shifted and you can get back to, feeling powerful and empowered in your business.
Yes, you can get back. And that's definitely something that was nice. Like reconnecting with you after I had the baby was really nice, just to have like easy flowing real conversations that aren't as much like, hey, you should do X, Y, and Z for your business. It really was like, what do you need? You're doing enough what you're doing, and like give yourself grace. That was more helpful than I think anything that anybody could have told me. It took me a while to absorb because it was hard. But yeah, that's great advice.
Well, and two, I think your level of excellence, and we're already hard on ourselves being new parents and a new mom, because we already feel like we don't know what we're doing at home sometimes. So the fact that we feel like we're failing with our business and then maybe not doing a wonderful job with the new baby, feeling confused and just like figuring things out in that area can really do a toll on your self-esteem and just your overall mental health. So I think having that support and finding somebody that you can lean on that is going to be like, hey, you are not falling apart. Like, this is normal. You're doing great. And you just need to take one day at a time. So having that support, I think, is really helpful too.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Yes,
And
thank you for having me.
one more time, where can people find you if they want to reach out to you and connect with you?
People can find me on Instagram. I am at RME_hair design, or my salon is at Rooted Hair Salon CT.
Okay, perfect.